For the first time in 7 years, the federal government is shut down. But what happens next? I'm Adam Beam, breaking down the uncertain future for federal workers ahead.
Overgrown grass that one resident says is knee to waist high. I'm Tony Jaramillo on Padre Island, speaking to one concerned neighbor who tells me this eyesore has been around for years.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Chris 6 Sunrise. Thank you so much for starting your day with us. I'm Michelle Hoffman. You only have one Hoffman for the rest of the week, but we do have meteorologist Diamond Dixon in with us to start your morning. Good morning, Diamond.
Good morning, Michelle. Well, thank you for being back. Yeah. And we're looking at our good old weather and traffic today.
Absolutely.
I know yesterday we talked about how it felt like fall. Today is feeling a little warmer, but you'll have a little good surprise maybe over the weekend. We'll be pretty close, right, to fall-like temperatures. But looking at our traffic, this is the hour where we start to see a little bit more of our traffic increasing. But for now, we're looking still pretty good. From Portland to the Harbor Bridge, we're still looking good and green this morning. We take it on over to Ocean Drive. Earlier, there was a little bit of a slowdown, but that has improved in the past 10 to 15 minutes. And we're looking also along SPID. SPID is also looking good this morning, as well as Saratoga. So school drop-offs probably haven't happened yet. Maybe you're still at home getting ready to head out the door. It's just 6:01. But also Waldron Road looking good this morning, as well as Flower Bluff Drive and the JFK Causeway. We'll also look at our AM drive times just to give you an idea of how it's looking. From downtown to the island, 21 minutes. From Portland to downtown, approximately 8 minutes. And Cow Island to downtown, we're looking at around 14 minutes for a commute. Well, that's going to be it for your traffic report. Just for now, we'll be back with more news and weather on the way.
Diamond, thank you so much. We'll get to your neighborhood news in just a bit, but first, the shutdown standoff at the nation's capital continues after the Senate failed in 2 votes on Wednesday to reopen the government. But what now? Neighborhood news reporter Adam Beam breaks it down.
After Congress fails to vote on funding the federal government, federal employees are heading to the offices on Wednesday, unsure if they'll even receive a paycheck. But amid the finger-pointing from both sides, what does this mean for everyone else? For starters, essential employees like air traffic controllers, food safety inspectors, and meteorologists with the National Weather Service are just some that are now working without pay. Military service members are in that same boat. Corpus Christi houses several branches like the Coast Guard, whose duties will continue, but they'll be doing so unpaid. And those are just the ones that will still be working. Starting Wednesday, at an estimated cost of $400 million a day, 750 other federal employees are now furloughed. Some departments cutting workforces by more than half. So just as an example, Padre Island National Seashore will stay open during the shutdown, but the number of employees that you'll see there is still unknown. But not all services will be affected right away. However, if a shutdown continues, you could start feeling it. Social Security, the CDC, national parks, and other federal departments will continue to function, but delays are already expected with new staff shortages. But what if you're not a federal worker? Let's take a look at SNAP benefits just as an example. Over 29,000 Nueces County residents utilized SNAP in August. And if this shutdown continues well into October, households may face delays just accessing food. Now, the last government shutdown lasted 35 days. Congress is continuing their efforts to pass the budget, but an end to the shutdown at this time remains unclear. For Chris 6 News, I'm Adam Beam.
Adam, thank you so much. So we have an update on that Navy jet that crashed in Claiborne County Tuesday afternoon. The jet was a T-45 trainer out of Naval Air Station Kingsville. It went down just south of the base and crashed into an empty field. The pilot was able to eject and was said to be okay. What's still not known is what caused the crash. We've reached out to Navy officials but haven't heard back yet. And a disturbance inside a home led to a deadly shooting on the west side. It happened just after 1 Wednesday on Navajo Street. That's in the area of Airport Road and Baldwin. When police arrived, they found a man who had been shot, and the victim was taken to the hospital, where he died a short time later. A suspect was detained at the scene, but so far no charges have been filed. The victim's name hasn't been released, and police did not say what the disturbance was about.
I'm Tony Jaramillo, your neighborhood news reporter on Padre Island. A resident here reached out to us last week saying they've been trying for years to have the overgrown property next to them mowed regularly. It's a privately owned lot, so what does the city say? The Chris 6 News camera was rolling as Larry and Kathy DeMalade walked me to the fence towards their backyard on Tesoro Drive near Whitecap Boulevard. Both tell me the last time the grass was cut was about 2 years ago. Kathy DeMalade tells me what's here now is an eyesore.
And there's snakes. And I saw one, and it was very scary. So I don't even like to take the trash out. You know?
I reached out to the city and learned the city has no abatement program for this fiscal year, which starts October 1st, meaning city workers can't take care of the yard. A spokesperson for the city's code compliance office says the office will continue addressing reported code violations in the city. I found the property owner's name through public records, but was unable to get in contact. On Padre Island, I'm your neighborhood news reporter, Tony Jaramillo, Chris 6 News.
Tony, thank you so much. So the work on the Aaron Drive reconstruction project continues. Starting today, Saratoga Boulevard to Summerwind Drive will be limited to one-way southbound traffic. Neighbors have been notified of the construction and driveways are expected to remain accessible. You are asked to follow the posted detour signs to navigate the construction zone. This $3.84 million project is part of Bond 2022 and is expected to be completed March of next year.
Well, hey there again, Coastal Bend. We have a live look outside our CCC camera over at Snoopy's Pier. It looks like some traffic picking up also along the way right now. At 6:06 this morning. Well, as far as our temperatures go, a lot of our neighborhoods were not as much in the 60s as we were yesterday, so it's a little bit warmer to start, and our afternoon will also be warm, similar to yesterday as well. We're looking low to mid 90s across our neighborhoods for our afternoon high. And as we head into the rest of the week and into the weekend, we'll see a slight decrease in our temperatures thanks to some expected rainfall in the forecast. Now, in your neighborhood, looking at current conditions, once again, we do range from upper 60s to about mid 70s. We're looking at 69 for Beeville. That's also the same for Kingsville. And we're also looking at 68 for Alice, as well as for Hebronville. 70 here in Corpus Christi. Our winds are pretty calm right now. Visibility still looks pretty decent as well this morning. For the past 10 hours, around 8 o'clock, we were at 84 degrees. And then a few hours into the night, over at 1 a.m., we were at 75, and now we're around 70. We were hanging out at 69 for a little bit into our 5 o'clock hour, but now we'll start our warming up of the day from this point. Yesterday, we had a high of 94, so I think today will be pretty much similar to that as well. We were pretty close to that record that was set back in 1977 at 96 degrees. Now, once again, we just saw our currents in our neighborhood, so you could see more so here on the map how it's looking. We have some neighborhoods still in the 60s, but yesterday we saw a little bit more of neighborhoods in the 60s as well as into the mid 60s, not so much upper 60s. So a little bit of a warmer start, but as far as our winds, like I mentioned, pretty light. We take a little bit of a shift to the north wind and then an east wind before a little bit of a southeast wind. A little bit of shift all throughout the day. With those feel like temperatures, we can expect to be in those 90s between 12 and 6, warmest part of the day, closer to 4 o'clock, where we will feel like 96. Yesterday was around 97. The previous day was 94. So a little bit warm, staying in the same pattern as yesterday. Hour by hour, we will be at 77 closer to 9 o'clock, 88 by noon, and then just on the cusp of 90 at 1 o'clock. 90 from 2 to 5, warmest part between 2 and 4. East-southeast wind just shy of 15 miles per hour, 85 by our 7 o'clock hour. We're once again expecting high now 94, sunny skies. If we're looking at highs around your neighborhood today, you can still expect those upper 80s right along the coast, low 90s elsewhere, closer to mid 90s for some of our neighborhoods. But for the most part, we will get a relief headed into the weekend.
Sounds good, Diamond. Thank you so much. So the Trump administration has threatened mass firings during the government shutdown, but when can we expect them? Scripps News Group Deputy Political Director Joe St. George joins us after the break with the answer. Welcome back, folks. 6:12 Thursday morning. You're getting a live look right now from our SPID Skycam. Traffic flowing pretty smoothly, even though it's kind of a busy time. But hey, we will check in with meteorologist Diamond Dixon. She'll have a look at your traffic and your forecast. But first, we have some national headlines to get to. The Trump administration has threatened major reductions in forces during this government shutdown, but so far none of them have happened yet. To talk more about this, we bring in Scripps News Group Deputy Political Director Joe St. George. Good morning, Joe. So we have two questions for you this morning. When can we expect the firings to happen? And if they happen, how could it change the dynamic of the shutdown?
This is the big uncertainty here, right? I mean, let's be honest. Nobody knows how long this shutdown is going to last. We have a little bit of an idea of how this is going to impact people and Americans and the economy. And, to summarize it in a sentence, the longer this shutdown goes, the more economic impact this is going to have. More government agencies will have to close in a prolonged shutdown. The federal court system, for instance, has said, you know what, they're okay now. They're able to pay people and keep cases on track because they've got some money in their accounts from court fees that can cover it. But if it lasts for weeks and weeks, eventually this is going to impact the courts. And the truth of it is that the reality of this is that what's making this shutdown having a possible different outcome, different drama than we saw in the last shutdown nearly 7 years ago is what's coming out of the White House. President Trump, Vice President Vance, we've heard from White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt, all indicating that firings are on the horizon. The adjective mass firings has even been associated with that, indicating that this is a next step that the Trump administration is going to take. The Scripps News Group's confirmed here on Capitol Hill that Republicans here in Congress have been briefed by the Trump administration and indicated that these layoffs, permanent reductions in forces, are going to happen within the next couple days. President Trump posted on Truth Social last night, quote, Republicans must use this opportunity of Democrat forced closure to clear out dead wood, waste, and fraud. Billions of dollars can be saved. So there's at least this indication that the president is interested in using this shutdown for his political advantage. Should this shutdown keep going? And from the looks of it, it looks like it will, right? The bad news this morning is that it's day 2 of the shutdown, and we're at least going to have a day 3 because the House isn't in Washington this week, and the Senate has said no votes today because of the Jewish holiday Yom Kippur. So the earliest we're going to get any type of shutdown reopening, government reopening, is going to be tomorrow. Both sides remain far apart. We'll end this report, though, with a little bit of optimism, right? The little bit of optimism is that yesterday on the floor of the Senate, we saw a handful of senators gathering, talking, Republicans, Democrats, retiring senators, swing state senators. And I think that matters. It shows you there's at least some passion from a small group of senators to get out of this shutdown, maybe not have a prolonged fight. But we're still a ways away from talking about any sort of deal. For the moment, the government just remains shut down for the second day in a row.
Yeah, well, Joe, thank you so much for following this for us. We hope you have a good one.
Welcome on back there, Coastal Bend. Well, we're taking a quick look at our planner for today from 7 all the way through 5 o'clock, basically your work day. So we will be in the 70s close to our 7 a.m. hour. We're kind of clocking around 70 right now in general, 77 by 9 a.m. We start to warm up on the cusp of 90 by 1 p.m. We actually hit into the 90s closer to 2. Also lasting through 5 o'clock, we're still expecting our mostly sunny and clear skies today. That is true as well. We get to our warmest part of the day between 2 and between 4, and that's also where we see our feel like temperatures increase as well. Now, as far as our currents, we could take a look at Tempest, see what's happening in your neighborhood, and once again down to the street level. We'll start with Beeville. Usually Beeville is a little bit cooler, so we were seeing anywhere from 66 to 73 degrees off of our Tempest stations, and over on the south side, we're looking anywhere between 71 and 74 degrees from Bent Trail Drive, San Benito Drive, Garden Court, Wind Willow Drive. So we have a lot of stations out there, so it's always helpful to see what's exactly happening in your neck of the woods. For your dog walking forecast, this is Pearl. Pearl is out enjoying some good old water. You could do the same today because it will be hot enough. From 8 to 12, we're going to be anywhere from 71 to 88 degrees. Once again, just before we hit 90 degrees, still with the north wind. That will shift to the east this afternoon, but for the most part, it will feel pretty good outside. Still those sunny conditions. And as we head into our later afternoon is where we'll feel the warmest. So maybe avoiding the hot pavement around that 2 to 4 window. With our average high temperature for October, we look to be closer to 85, but we still have some ways to go. We still have temperatures in the highs that are ranging from 90 to 95 still even this week. So it's going to take us a little bit longer to get to where we should be for our season, like a couple more cold fronts and strong winds at that. Looking at also that temperature outlook, we're going to be warmer here in South Texas, Texas in general, and much of the U.S. if you want to be honest, from October 8th through the 12th. So that's why it's also going to take us a little bit longer. Our forecast high temperatures stay above normal as well through the weekend and into next week. Even though we do have some rain chances, those are going to help bring us to near normal. We'll track those chances coming up.
So is it refugio or refurio? Still ahead on Sunrise, Nina Martinez will answer that question.
Chris 6 News celebrates Hispanic heritage.
Where are we going, Manny?
Nos vamos para refugio.
Órale, vámonos. It's spelled R-E-F-U-G-I-O. But in South Texas, pronunciation varies and even sometimes sparks debate.
Yes, me and my wife always talked about it because pretty much, hey, we're about 10 miles from refugio. Refugio.
Refugio y refurio.
Refuria. Bobcats.
The historic town of Refugio was founded in 1795 near Mission Nuestra Señora del Refugio, the last of the Spanish missions established in Texas.
We have a very rich history here and pride. We love our town.
Wanda Dukes has been the mayor here for nearly a decade. She believes that Spanish name refugio was adopted in different ways by Anglo and Irish settlers, leading to local pronunciations like refurio.
Son says, Mom, you cannot move up there until you can say it properly.
And how is that?
Refurio.
Refugio.
And although the word comes from the Spanish language, locals here have embraced refurio. You'll even find the pronunciation on the city's welcome sign.
And we also have a nickname called Furio.
Refugio or refurio. What matters is the history and pride this small South Texas town carries, no matter how you say it. In Refugio, I'm Nina Martinez, Chris 6 News.
Well, it is that time again. We have a live look outside our USS Lexington Skycam provided by First Community Bank at 6:23 this morning. Once again, we also have a view of our New Harbor Bridge. We can see some cars moving along, but usually we don't see too much traffic backed up on the New Harbor Bridge, so that's always good news. Fast moving lanes, but we will take a look at our local road maps to see exactly how we're doing this morning. From Portland to the Harbor Bridge, as we just saw in our Skycam, still looking good this morning. Ocean Drive also looking good, as well as SPID and Ocean Drive. We take it on over to Waldron Road. There is a slowdown in place. Shouldn't affect your commute too much, but just be mindful of the slowdown. Flower Bluff Drive also looking good this morning, as well as the JFK Causeway at 6:24 this morning. We'll continue to look at our traffic updates throughout the morning to see what it is before you head out the door. But for now, if you are headed out, it's a good time to get on the road.
A special connection in the classroom. I'm Jada Jenkins on the West Side, where a mother and a daughter is inspiring students and teachers at a Corpus Christi elementary school.
Now, weather on the 6s.
Well, good morning again, Coastal Bend. Meteorologist Adam Dixon here with the live look outside our CCAC camera over at Snoopy's Pier at 6:26 this morning. Once again, cars moving on along, traffic starting to pick up. Maybe you're headed on out the door to start your day. As far as how we're looking in our neighborhoods, some of us didn't wake up all in the 60s, but a little warmer trend today. Will also be warm this afternoon, similar to what we saw for our Wednesday, where it felt like summer in the afternoon, but fall in the morning. Today, once again, we're still feeling a little bit warmer. Corpus Christi right now at 70, Beeville at 68, same for Alice and Hepburnville. And we're also looking at 69 for Kingsville. We're also looking then to see mid to upper 70s for our surrounding neighborhoods. Warmest on the map right now is Port Aransas at 79. All of our winds are calm at the moment, and our visibility is looking still pretty good this morning. A more impacted visibility would look closer to Kingsville, but nonetheless not too bad. Now, when we look at our current temperatures and feels likes, you'll also notice those temperatures and feel likes are right on par with each other. We see a slight difference in temperature, mainly for Port Aransas, feeling a little bit warmer than 79 at this hour. For the most part, we're seeing a lot of our neighborhoods at 67 and 69 and 70 this morning. Once again, we'll continue to warm throughout the day and into the afternoon. And our warmest part of the day, as you know, is between 2 and 4 p.m. But we will be feeling like the 90s between 12 and 6, but we will actually be in the 90s closer to that 2 to 5 o'clock window. Now, looking at our forecast, expecting to hit that high of 94 degrees here in Corpus Christi with our sunny skies today. And as we head into even just the week for Friday and into the weekend, we'll start to see those chances of rain increase for us. And then our temperatures will ever so slightly drop just a tad. Headed into our day, closer to 2 o'clock, once again, we hit 90. 6 o'clock, we kind of come out of the 90s, closer to 87, and then 79 by 10 o'clock with a southeast wind. When we look at our heat risk for today, we talked about this also yesterday. We're looking between minor and moderate. A lot of that moderate is hanging out near Freer and Alice and also to the west of Beeville. But when we look at tomorrow, conditions do improve just a bit. That more so of that moderate heat risk stays a little bit more central to the west of Lake Corpus Christi, and more so we see minor heat risk elsewhere. That's going to mainly be due to those increasing rain chances for us headed into the next few days. That will allow us to cool just a bit. Those chances get even better headed into October 4th. So where we will gradually see our heat risk decrease. Muggy meter wise, when you step outside today, you might be like the air's feeling a little sticky today. And that is true. We did have more of a dry pattern in the beginning half of the week, but now we will be going more towards humid and very humid towards the end of this week and into the weekend with those elevated dew points that are leading to our better rain chances for us in the next 6 to 10 days, and as well as even in the next 5 days. So we'll even see that through Moisture Tracker, just how moisture will be creeping its way back into South Texas. We'll track that more coming up.
The financial and emotional weight of taking care of aging parents is something many are not prepared for, and it's affecting everything from retirement plans to mental health. Coming up, I'll tell you why experts say it's going to continue to affect future generations.
Many Americans are feeling the financial squeeze when it comes to taking care of their aging parents. And as Scripps News Group's Holly Furfer found out, it's taking a real toll.
AARP says the average family spends more than $7,000 a year taking care of an aging parent, spending 26% of their average income, and it's creating a financial hardship. When Scott Thomas realized his parents needed to move to assisted living, he wasn't prepared for the sticker shock.
I wanted to do everything I can to help them continue to have the best life possible, but it's a lot more money than you think, even if you've saved for it.
Matt Schultz with Lending Tree says his experience is not unique.
About 60% of people who support their parents say that they've taken on debt. And for a lot of people, the numbers aren't that huge, but about 13% say they've taken on $25,000 or more in debt over this situation.
A recent Lending Tree survey found that nearly 1 in 4 adults are already helping out their parents financially, with anything from groceries and personal expenses to housing, medical bills, and utilities. And just as many adult children expect they'll need to in the future. Brian Sullivan helps families find senior living options for aging parents that fit their budgets.
And there are 4 primary types of care: independent living, assisted living, memory care, and skilled nursing, or skilled nursing is probably the same as we all know as nursing homes. And as you go through that continuum, the costs go up.
A major concern is a generational domino effect as we live longer.
It is going to make it harder going backwards for generations to get ahead when it comes to their own retirement and to be able to have enough money to put towards long-term financial goals.
Sullivan has some advice.
Talking to financial advisors, estate planning attorneys, folks like myself, living advisors who understand some of the dynamics in play.
Something that Scott Thomas now considers.
I'm thinking about, well, no, what about us? When we get older, do we have enough savings for ourselves so that we don't put other family members in this situation as well?
Holly Furfer, Scripps News Group, Atlanta.
Welcome on back there, Coastal Web Meteorologist Diamond Dixon here. Once again, quick look at our temperatures and feels likes this morning. A lot of us in the upper 60s and low 70s. 70 for Corpus Christi, same for Freer and George West. 69 for Robstown and Kingsville and Mathis, and 67 for San Diego. Also looking at 79 for Port Aransas. Those feel like temperatures pretty close to our actual air temperature, but you will notice a little bit more of a muggy start to your day, a little bit more humidity to factor in, and that will also be the case headed into this weekend and early next week. Feel like temperatures headed into our afternoon hours will be in the 90s, between 12 and 6 for us. Warmest part of the day near 4 o'clock, feeling like 96. We come out of that back to the 80s. You'll notice that our 10 a.m. and our 8 a.m. are very similar to where we'll feel like 88 at those respective times, and then down to the 70s closer to overnight 2 a.m. into Friday morning. We're looking at a high today of 94 here in Corpus Christi with sunny skies, mostly sunny skies. Once again, we'll see a few more clouds coming in with our increase in moisture as well, and that's going to stick around once again through Friday through the weekend. Planning out your day hourly by every 4 hours or so. Once again, into the 90s by 2 o'clock, upper 80s then by 6 o'clock. We've come out of the 90s and headed into 10 o'clock. We'll be in the upper 70s, closer to 80 degrees. So once again, a little bit of a wind shift as well, but just be prepared for more humidity and a little bit of a heat risk as well.
Now, 20 minutes of non-stop news, sponsored by Ewald Kubota.
Thanks for joining us, folks, for our 20 minutes of nonstop news. I'm Michelle Hoffman. We have plenty of national and neighborhood news for you this morning, but first, let's check in with meteorologist Diamond Dixon. Good morning, Diamond. How are the roads looking?
Good morning, Michelle. Well, as you know, we start to see our traffic pick up more so in the 6 o'clock hour, usually towards 6:30. Right now, it's actually been a pretty quiet morning for us. Now we see our Skycam overlooking SPID there, and we're seeing cars moving along, probably headed on out to work at 6:41 this morning. We can also take a look then at our local road maps to see if we're seeing any traffic being reported right now from Portland to the Harbor Bridge. We're still seeing good and green right there. So we usually don't see too much traffic along the Harbor Bridge, so that's good news. Ocean Drive also looking good this morning. We just saw that live cam there of SPID, traffic moving smooth in both directions, and Saratoga is also looking good this morning. We take it on over to Waldron Road. That is where we're starting to see more of a slowdown, a little bit more so than earlier. So you'll want to be mindful of that if you're headed in the direction of Waldron Road. A minor slowdown along Flower Bluff Drive, but nothing that should impact your commute in that direction. And the JFK Causeway is also looking good for us this morning. Here's a look at your AM drive times depending on where you're headed this morning. But that's going to wrap up our traffic report for right now. We'll have more news and weather on the way.
It's now day 2 of the government shutdown. Thousands of federal workers are staying home, reducing some services for Americans. Amy Kiley reports on other potential ramifications of the budget impasse.
Congress's first role is to make sure the government operates.
We need to reopen the government.
Leaders of both parties say the government shutdown is bad for the country, but they don't agree on how to fix it. Democrats want a funding bill that reverses Medicaid cuts and extends expiring Obamacare subsidies.
Well, what we're doing is fighting to protect the health care of the American people.
Republicans want a fairly clean continuing resolution.
The counter proposal would add $1.5 trillion in new spending on a 7-week stopgap measure. We're not doing that.
Shuttering the government is starting to have an impact. The FBI Agents Association says, quote, a shutdown can undermine the FBI's ability to perform its duties at a time when the country faces an unprecedented range of national security and criminal threats. Meanwhile, the White House says it'll soon use the shutdown as a reason to lay off federal workers.
The DOJ cuts, it's now this shutdown. I almost wonder, why would anybody want to be a federal worker?
Sources say the White House also thinks a food program for women, infants, and children could run out of money by next week. A recent survey shows about a quarter of military families rely on WIC. Service members are among the federal workers no longer getting paid.
Our military families need a solution to this.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
I'm Tyrese Boone, your neighborhood news reporter here in Kingsville. The district is dealing with a major shakeup. The Athletic Booster Club has disbanded following the removal of 2 volleyball coaches. Questions are mounting about how this will impact student programs going forward. Following the news, the Booster Club went to social media, writing, quote, "We refuse to support an administration that would take such drastic action." The decision came after the district confirmed Tuesday that 2 volleyball coaches were removed after allegedly leaving student athletes unsupervised. The move has sparked backlash, not only from the Booster Club, but also from the community. A petition now gaining support to reinstate the coaches. Parents are also voicing their concerns on social media. One comment read, "Please don't take this out on the kids. This Booster Club does many great things for the athletes." Going forward, the Booster Club says any remaining funds will be turned over to the district's athletic programs. We reached out to members of the Booster Club and Kingsville ISD superintendent for an interview, but neither were available. The disbandment of the Booster Club leaves a gap in funding and support for Kingsville student athletes, one that the district will now have to fill. In Kingsville, I'm your neighborhood news reporter, Tyrese Boone, Chris 6 News.
I'm Tony Jaramillo, your neighborhood news reporter on Padre Island. A resident here reached out to us last week saying they've been trying for years to have the overgrown property next to them mowed regularly. It's a privately owned lot, so what does the city say?
The Chris 6 News camera was rolling as Larry and Kathy DeMalade walked me to the fence towards their backyard on Tesoro Drive near Whitecap Boulevard. Both tell me the last time the grass was cut was about 2 years ago. Kathy DeMalade tells me what's here now is an eyesore.
And there's snakes. And I saw one, and it was very scary. So I don't even like to take the trash out. You know.
I reached out to the city and learned the city has no abatement program for this fiscal year, which starts October 1st, meaning city workers can't take care of the yard. A spokesperson for the city's code compliance office says the office will continue addressing reported code violations in the city.
I found the property owner's name through public records, but was unable to get in contact. On Padre Island, I'm your neighborhood news reporter, Tony Jaramillo, Chris 6 News.
Welcome on back there, Coastal Bay. Meteorologist Diamond Dixon with a live look outside our CCAC camera overlooking there Snoopy's Pier. We're starting to see a couple of breaks into our sunrise sky there. Not quite just yet. A little bit later, in about 30 to 40 minutes, we'll have our actual sunrise of the day. Now looking at those current temperatures in our neighborhood, once again, we started off in the upper 60s for a lot of our neighborhoods, low 70s. That's still true. 70 for Corpus Christi and Freer, 68 in Beeville, same for Falfurria, 67 in Hebbronville and San Diego, and 69 for George West, Robstown, and Kingsville. Now 78 for Port Aransas and 75 for Rockport. Those feel like temperatures pretty close still to our actual air temperature, but we are going to start to notice a little bit more humidity creeping on into the forecast for us. We're at 70. We feel like 70. Our northwest wind is just shy 5 miles per hour. Those current winds will take a shift throughout the afternoon, closer to the east and a little bit of the southeast, but for the most part, we're seeing calm winds across all of our neighborhoods, not exceeding 5 miles at this time. As we head into the afternoon, warmest part of the day between 12 and 6, where we will be feeling like the 90s. At 4 o'clock, we will feel like 96, so it will be pretty warm outside, similar to yesterday where we saw a high of 94. That's going to be a similar scenario for us today. Hour by hour, we will hang out in the 70s until 9 a.m. and be into those 80s by 10 a.m., upper 80s by 12, and headed into the cusp of 90 degrees by 1 p.m. at 89. 90 will hold us from 2 to to 5. Once again, warmest part of that day between 2 and 4 with the east-southeast wind just around 12 miles per hour, back to the mid-80s by 7 o'clock tonight. We expect to hit 94 with our sunny skies here in Corpus Christi. If we look at what those highs look like around the rest of our neighborhoods, we're still looking at 80s along the coast for us. And also, once again, those low 90s, close to mid-90s for some of us. That'll be further out west and down south. And that's also because we have a heat risk still to look out for. And that's mainly going to be out west and closer to Alice and Freer, mainly also near Beeville, but along the coast will be on a minor heat risk. Those conditions do get better for us headed into Friday with our increasing rain chances. So it stays a little bit more centralized closer to the west and to the west of Lake Corpus Christi, and gets even better then headed into October 4th. We could see also a little bit of a moderate heat risk closer to Corpus Christi and right along the coast for us. But for the most part, those rain chances do increase. We're seeing a little bit more of that muggy meter in play between humid and very humid with our increasing dew points. That's going to be due to those increasing rain chances as well. So when you step outside, it may feel a little bit stickier than what we have in the past few days because our humidity values are going up. Rain chances in the next 6 to 10 days. Well, we're getting a little bit more rain, a little bit wetter than normal, but for the most part, from your moisture tracker, you could see that we will get a little bit more rain in action here for us headed into the weekend and early next week.
I'm your Westside Neighborhood News reporter, Jada Jenkins. At Rose Shaw Elementary School, some are calling this new school year extra special. I spent the day learning how a longtime teacher is sharing the hallways with her daughter, who just began her first year teaching in the classroom.
I remember even when I was in kindergarten and she was in the classroom, I remember going to her room and just seeing how she interacted with the kids.
Megan Miller tells me she's watched her mother in front of the classroom her entire life, but this time it's her mother's turn to watch. Megan is in her first year as a teacher. She says her new coworkers feel like family.
Like they've known me, like I said, my whole life, and so they all welcome me in very easy.
Megan says she didn't expect to teach, but found a passion for the classroom after working as a substitute in the same school where her mother Valerie teaches.
So we don't have too much time together, but just knowing that she's there and anything I need, I can go to her.
I spoke with Valerie Miller about what it's like sharing a hallway with her daughter.
So I was kind of hesitant, like, are you sure you want to do this? And she never skipped a beat. She hopped right in.
Valerie says she's seen the signs in Megan ever since she was a little girl.
I was just impressed that, okay, this is a first-year teacher, but she really knows what she's doing.
Principal Christine Bernal says this rare duo of mother-daughter teachers brings something special to the building.
We truly enjoy doing what we do each day, and it's fun, you know.
As for Valerie, she says after all the years of raising her daughter, Megan is now giving her a lesson.
I think she's probably teaching me that life is full of surprises.
Valerie says as a mother, she naturally wants to protect her daughter, but she has to find a balance between being mom and coworker.
I want to be a mom to her and make sure that she's taken care of. At the same time, I have to respect her and her space.
As mom helped daughter around the classroom, Megan credits her for helping her find the love for teaching.
Sometimes I forget to tell her thank you, but yeah.
I walked through the hallways at Rose Shaw. Students called out Miss Miller for both mother and daughter. It's clear that the students are just as excited about this teaching duo as the teachers are. On the West Side, I'm your neighborhood news reporter, Jada Jenkins, Chris 6 News.
Now, 6 things to know before you go.
Today is Yom Kippur, the holiest day on the Jewish calendar. It's also one of the most somber commemorations of the year. It's a day when the Jewish community focuses on atonement and asks for forgiveness for any wrongdoings they may have committed over the past year. To mark the day, Jewish adults started fasting Wednesday evening for an entire day. The fasting will end Thursday evening, and while Yom Kippur is not a federal holiday, Congress will not be in session. New data is set to be released today from the Bureau of Labor Statistics on weekly unemployment claims. Today's unemployment data will not include any federal employees who were laid off or furloughed as part of the government shutdown. Some furloughed workers may be able to apply for the unemployment compensation for federal employees or UCFE, though those employees will not be included in BLS unemployment data in coming weeks. Tesla is set to release new numbers today on vehicle production and deliveries for the third quarter of the year. The new data comes just 2 days after the federal tax credit for electric vehicles expired. Tesla announced this week it will raise lease prices for all of its vehicles to cope with the loss of federal incentives. Walmart is making changes to its food. The largest retail grocer in the U.S. announced it will get rid of synthetic dyes from its store brand foods, and officials say they also plan to remove 30 other ingredients, including preservatives and certain artificial sweeteners. Some of the products that will be affected are cheese dips, sports drinks, and cake frostings. Officials say they hope to keep their prices static during this transition, and all of the ingredients changes are expected to be completed by January 2027. A disturbance in a West Side home led to a deadly shooting. It happened just after 1 Wednesday on Navajo Street. That's in the area of Airport and Baldwin. When police arrived, they found a man who had been shot. The victim was taken to the hospital where he died a short time later. A suspect was detained at the scene, but so far no charges have been filed, and the victim's name hasn't been released. Police did not say what the disturbance was about. We have an update on the Navy jet that crashed in Clayburgh County Tuesday afternoon. The jet was a T-45 trainer out of Naval Air Station Kingsville. It went down just south of the base and crashed into an empty field. The pilot was able to eject and was said to be okay. It's still unknown what caused the crash, and we have reached out to Navy officials but haven't heard back.
Here's a look at what's trending now. McDonald's is celebrating the upcoming spooky season with the return of a specialty menu item. The fast food chain will make its Happy Meal Boo Buckets available to customers for a limited time. They'll roll out on October 21st. The lineup of 5 bucket characters includes Ghost, Pumpkin, and Goblin. New for the season are Cat and Zombie. The buckets also come with stickers that kids use to customize to their liking. And this is the 3rd straight year that Boo Buckets are on the McDonald's menu. Before that, they were an occasional item, first debuting back in 1986. I love that. I love holiday themed anything, you know? Yeah. I really think Halloween is kind of like the kickoff to the rest of the season, where you get to just like immerse yourself in all of the things.
And go all out. That's right.
That's the goal this year. That's the goal.
I've been seeing more buckets lately. I guess that is a thing. You know, like McDonald's and
Home Depot.
Home Depot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I might need a bucket.
You got to go to McDonald's, but October 21st.
I'll be there. All right. And I may be there for a Big Mac. You guys know I'm not opposed to a Big Mac.
No judgment here, but are we going to see buckets of rain perhaps?
That's a good toss. I will give it to you, Michelle.
Thank you.
We will be seeing rain this weekend and into early next week. Now, as far as if it's going to be buckets, I would love that, but it's going to be more so of our isolated and semi-scattered showers for us. We have our live look outside our CCAC camera overlooking their Snoopy's Pier. Our sunrise is starting to appear. Pink hues cutting through the middle of our picture here. But what we can look forward to with rain, we will get rain. It may not be a lot of rain, but we will get some. Temperature-wise, and feels like we started off in the 60s for some of our neighborhoods, but more like upper 60s. We're looking at also low 70s, 69 for Corpus Christi and Robstown, as well as Kingsville. And 67 for Beeville, San Diego, Hebronville, 68 for Matheson, Falfurrias, and 70s right along the coast for us. Those feel like temperatures this afternoon will heat on up. 96 feeling like that around 4 o'clock. We'll still feel the warmest between 12 and 6 for our day, and we'll also be in the 90s around that time. Hour by hour, we'll break out into the 80s closer to 10 o'clock, upper 80s by 12, and on the cusp of 90 there by 1 o'clock. At 89 degrees. We'll hang on to the 90s from 2 to 5, and that's where we'll see our warmest part of the day, back to the mid-80s by 7 o'clock. Expecting to hit that high of 94 degrees with our mostly sunny skies today. If you aren't walking the dog, once again, this is a picture of Pearl. Enjoying the water, which you can too today, will range from 71 to 88 degrees between 8 and 12 today. And once again, with those forecast high temperatures, we will be above normal pretty much all weekend into early next week. But the good news is that we will still have those rain chances to help keep us close to near normal. Even in the next 6 to 10 days out, we're looking at a slightly wetter than normal pattern for us. And we can see that also through our moisture future tracker of some moisture coming back to South Texas through the weekend to give us some better rain chances from Friday into early next week for us. So once again, between stray and a little bit isolated, but nonetheless, we will get some of those rain chances. Now, when we look at our 7-day, we're going to break this down. There's a couple things to consider. We were warm yesterday, the day before, and we're going to be warm today. Friday, we get close to near normal. we start to see those showers come back into the forecast. That will last even past Monday. But for the most part, we could see a little 89 on there. Will we hit 89? It could be closer to 90. We usually update this, of course, throughout the day. But for the most part, we will look at low 90s from Friday onward into next week. So we do need rain.
Oh,
yeah. And we need rounds of rain. We need cold fronts to cool us off, to get us to where we should be. And then we'll feel like fall.
Yeah.
So maybe like after the mid-month, you know?
Yeah, it will feel kind of like October, so we need that.
Yes, yes. And then you can have your boo party and we'll be in the spirit completely.
I love it. Well, Diamond, thank you so much. And thank you, folks, for joining us on Chris 6 Sunrise. We hope to see you later. We'll be on at noon.
Yes, we will.
Yeah, have a good one.